Hello there, my beautiful pumpkins, and welcome back to the Pumpkin Patch. If you are new here, hello, my name is Kloee Taylor, and on this channel, I believe we have one of the most cozy, vibey, autumnal corners of the internet. So if you like the way that I read, you like my style, this message resonates for you, please be sure to hit that subscribe button and join the Pumpkin Patch, and give this video a like so I know to make more like this. So today's reading is going to be 5 things that your spirit guides really need you to know right now, to be made aware of. And I'm really excited. This topic came to me randomly, and I knew in the moment that I had to write it down because I knew that it was going to be an impactful reading, and I've kind of been sitting on it for the last week or so. So I'm really excited to get into it. Let me go ahead and I'm going to put some crystals on these different decks that you can choose from. Today's readings, we are doing a lot of the Threads of Fate cards. I will link the Threads of Fate website down below. This is not a collaboration with them or anything, but I really love their decks. I use them a lot in my own tarot readings when I read for myself. And each pile, we're going to be emphasizing one of their oracle decks. So pile number 1, you will have the Malachite crystal, and this, I believe, is the shadow edition of their oracle deck. Pile number 2, you are going to have a blue piece of obsidian, and that is with the silver rendition of their oracle deck. Pile number 3, you are going to have a rose quartz, and this is the lumen edition of their oracle deck. And pile number 4, you are going to have the rose gold edition with a piece of angelite. So if you want to use the crystals, the different decks, maybe you knew from the thumbnail what you wanted to choose. This is completely up to you. Just know that you're never going to choose wrong. It's okay to choose more than one. Some people even will listen to this entire video and then they will go back and choose which one was correct for them. So there's no wrong way to do this. I believe that if you were drawn into this reading, that there is absolutely something here for you. There's a reason that you felt pulled or felt called to this. So just know that, your guides really wanted to come through in this reading, especially if I showed up on your homepage. I feel like that's always the way that I know when a reading is for me, is when it shows up at random for me, or on a sidebar or something. Don't get me wrong, I think the subscription box is great, but I do feel like if this popped up for you at random, then you're definitely supposed to be here. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a few moments with some meditation music, and then we will get into the readings, starting with pile number 1. All right, pile number 1. If you chose the Shadow Edition and the Malachite crystal, we're going to go ahead and start with just these first top cards. These are going to be the major themes, and then we're going to break those themes down into more specifics, and then we're also going to get some extra messages of kind of how to navigate the landscape now that you know these things. So first and foremost for you, we have the Weaver card, and I'll tell you about each of these kind of once we get them all laid down. We also have for you the Alchemist card. Oh my gosh, these cards are so you got big energy. You also got the Universe, Withdraw, and you also got the card of Nature. So these are the major themes, as I stated, and we're going to go through and actually talk about them individually, and then we will also be going through and kind of breaking them down into more of just kind of understanding where in your life these things are being highlighted, if that makes sense, and kind of what you can do about it. So let's go ahead and talk about that. So we're going to start, I think, at the center of your reading with the Weaver card here. So the Weaver, this card is all about like the entire deck, the Threads of Fate, like their whole thing, like as a company. I need to say this because I think it really emphasizes the importance of the heart of your reading about what your spiritual team wants you to know and why you were here to understand this. The Threads of Fate, it's all about like the tapestry that is our life and how every person is their own weaver of their own tapestry. And so this card is all about weaving your own personal threads and deciding which threads you want to sew and which threads you need to cut. Because there are some threads that just don't belong in our tapestry, be it people or boundaries or situations, careers, and we'll take a deeper look as well once I explain these other ones to you. So we also have the Alchemist, and this card, you like I said, you got a lot of big energy. Like this is a big dick energy reading, whether you have one of those or not. The Alchemist, this card is really all about, it's about like, well, first of all, we have to talk about like alchemy, right? Alchemy is spinning negative situations into positive or turning lead into gold. So if you are the alchemist, this is about metamorphosis, about change and transmutation. And it's about making magic with what you have, even if it's a long process. It's holding the vision for the final product of what you want to create or how you want to create yourself. So this could also be a strong pull to like, maybe you don't feel like you do believe in yourself. And the Alchemist is a call to start believing. The Universe card, this card, I feel like all y'all that pulled this pile are going to hate this card. Hear me out. It's not a bad card. It's actually really favorable. However, the Universe is deeply about the process of surrender, surrendering situations in your life, letting go, and knowing and trusting that the universe has a plan for you and that you might be able to, weave certain things in or have say in your fate. Of course, we are the weavers of our own fate, but we also weave alongside the universe. We co-create. And so this is about letting go and letting the universe really step in to guide you. So I feel like if you are somebody that's like a control freak, for lack of better words here, I feel like this can be something that's hard. It's hard to allow when you want to control every outcome. But like I said, we'll get more specific as to what you're needing to let go of and let the universe step in a moment. But then we also have the card of nature for you. This is definitely a call to get more out into nature, to let things go. Nature is such a healing place, especially if you're somebody that's an empath or highly sensitive. It is a place where I truly believe that nature can give us answers to any of life's problems. Like even just allowing yourself to take some grounding deep breaths in a forest or on a bed of grass or by the ocean, whatever kind of nature you have access to. It could also be literally the desert or the concrete out in front of your house. Like those raw materials were once still part of the earth, and you don't have to be in the middle of the evergreen trees to feel the energy of nature. But I really do believe that everything that we experience in life, it is reflected in nature as well. And so we can get all the answers to life's problems if we look towards nature. So again, we'll look at that in a minute. And then lastly, we also have the card of withdraw over here. I'm also hearing that foxes might be something that you feel really drawn to. Maybe this is like a power animal for you, or this is something like a symbol that you feel drawn to. It might also be a way that your spiritual team shows up for you, is in the imagery of foxes. But with the card withdraw, this is you needing to take some time out for yourself. Take time away, withdraw from the outer world, and go on a deep inner journey. So let's go ahead and break each of these topics down now and see what they're really trying to tell you with each of these. So number one, at the heart of your reading with the Weaver, we have the Queen of Pentacles coming out to describe this, as well as the King of Cups. This is very powerful, in my opinion, as this to me really signifies that you might be trying to build a life alongside someone else, or these could also be two aspects of yourself. So King of Cups is somebody that's really rooted isn't even the right word, because that's more like King of Pentacles. They're really comfortable in their emotions, in the way that they feel, in taking care of themselves. They also make really sound decisions, and they're able to have very like calm inner waters, if that makes sense. Our inner water is our emotions, and the King of Cups is like the master of their emotions. So paired with the Queen of Pentacles, which is a deeply nurturing, deeply caring, deeply successful card. This to me is about weaving the life that you want. If you're somebody that feels like your emotions are all over the place, or you feel like you don't have time for self-care, you don't have time to tend to yourself, this is a strong call to action from your spiritual team, reminding you that you get to weave the tapestry of your life. Not everything is just left to fate, to chance, and to the universe. Though the universe is here as well, helping you co-create, you still have choices to make. And if there are things in your life, whether they are people, places, careers, things in your life that just don't make you feel good, like, to put it bluntly, if it's not a fuck yes from you, it is a hell no. That's what it should be. It is a hell no. And that is how you need to look at this tapestry that you're building. If you're sitting and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling on social media to just, this is one example, and you're just using this as a numbing out coping mechanism to not connect with yourself, when you know internally doing something that would make you feel good for you, be it making a hot chocolate for yourself in the evening and cuddling up with a face mask on, and like, being I always tell my husband that when I'm like in bed and I've got all my lotions and potions on my face, I always tell him I'm being slug wife. Like, I am a slug. And I am feeling good. I am feeling moisturized and unbothered, right? These are just very simple, like surface level examples, but like basically it might not apply directly to your life with this example, but the point that I'm trying to make to you is that you have a choice. You have a choice, and you are allowed to rip out the threads from your tapestry that you don't like. You don't have to put orange in your tapestry if you don't like that color. You can decide, you know what, I'm going to rip those seams out and we're going to put a line of green down here. You don't have to be at the mercy of coping mechanisms, habits that you would like to change. And this is a strong call to action from your spiritual team about, hey, if you don't feel like you are calm waters making decisions from an emotionally good place, and you don't feel like you ever have time for yourself, you need to start considering what are the choices that you are making on a day-to-day basis that are not adding value to your life, because you only get one. This is not your practice life. And I'm making such a big stink about this because this is the heart of your entire reading. This is like the main message that you came here to receive. Then with the Alchemist, we have the Eight of Wands. And we also have the Five of Wands. So this is about making opportunity. Oh, I know exactly what this is about. So the Alchemist, like I said, it's turning lead into gold, right? It's turning a crappy situation into an opportunity. It's saying, instead of saying to yourself, why did I have to go through that? This sucks. Why did I choose this family to incarnate in with? Why was I raised with this? These are like examples from my life. Okay. Why did I choose to come in with this kind of religious indoctrination? Why did I choose, why it's almost like moving from this, like you're just spinning your wheels as to all of the things that are wrong in your life, instead of saying, hey, this family gave me the ability to understand that we as humans need so much more love than they were able to give. And I get to become the compassionate person that I didn't have. And I get to give that to the world. Or maybe it's even if you're in like a career path that you don't like right now, Spirit is saying you don't have to stay there. You can look at what this career path has given to you and how it has changed you, and you can decide to do something with that skill set that is something completely different. For example, I started my online career in gaming. Okay. I gamed in The Sims. I have a full channel that's got like 150 some odd K subscribers. I have several videos on that channel that hit over 1 million views. Like, in its time, it was what I consider to be quite popular. But at the end of it, it wasn't really fulfilling anymore, and I had to move on to something different. I'm telling you this story, even if you've heard it before, because I could have said, oh my gosh, that didn't work out. That sucked. I'm never going to be able to do something online ever again. That ruined me, and I'll never be able to try something else. Or I could say, oh my gosh, because of that career, I know how to edit videos. I know how to commentate. I know how to create a YouTube channel. I know how to study analytics. I know how to work with brand sponsorships. I know how to, like, there were so many skills that came with that original career. Even though when it breathed its last breath, it was really hard for me to let go. I didn't sit in this 5 of Wands spinning out. I did for a while, but eventually I looked at all of the beautiful gifts that that career gave to me, and I was able to turn a really crappy situation into one that was much better. And now I'm here today talking to you. So that's what I mean. In your life where you feel like there is a really, really crappy situation, how can you look at that situation and turn it into something positive? Now, I'm not saying like if you were abused that you should be like, oh yeah, I deserved that. And how can I capitalize on that? You don't have to use, like, things can just be shitty. Okay. I will never tell you that you need to take full responsibility for things that frankly are just out of your control. But I do think if there is something else in your life that you have been really stuck in, some kind of old, outdated pattern, Spirit is really urging you to change it and to turn it into something positive that it has done for you. So then we have with the universe, letting things go, right? Remember we talked about the deep surrender. You have the Hanged One. Actually, you have the 9 of Wands. We'll put the 9 of Wands down first. You have the 9 of Wands, and you also have the Hanged One. And what this says to me is you've actually done a lot of co-creating. You've done a lot of creating, period. You've done a lot. The 9 of Wands is somebody that has been through and done a lot. You have been like beaten down and battered by life. And this card is not a card that is for the faint of heart, right? It is one of those cards that says, keep going, don't stop, you're almost done, even though this has been hard. But the Hanged One says that you also don't have to push as hard as you've been pushing. It is okay to relax, to surrender, to gain a new perspective, and to take your time. You don't have to be like, I think one of the most beautiful gifts that comes from the universe card is really about stepping outside of the ego. It's about stepping beyond the ego. And even if you're in a situation right now where you feel like you have to take on extra hours at work, you're not making ends meet, everything is being squeezed because of the recession, like things are feeling really tense and really tight, I want you just to take a deep breath for a moment and realize that you do not have to control every aspect. You don't have to get on the hamster wheel. You don't have to do all of these things. When you recognize that the universe actually is here to support you, to help you, your spiritual team led you here to support you and to help you, you can get out of the way and allow the space for that to happen. Sometimes the hardest thing that we have to do is to rest, because we have been so programmed to never, ever, ever rest that resting actually becomes anxiety inducing and it becomes scary. I firmly believe that we are, not all of us, but a lot of us are, we were bred into a society that keeps us afraid and keeps us worried and keeps us in this state of hypervigilance, because it continues to make people go out and work hard because they fear losing their homes, losing their cars, losing their sense of stability. And the universe is never going to drop you on your ass. Like, you're going to be okay. And this is a surefire card that you need to hear this stuff. Like, the universe has your back. And you don't have to stress as hard as you've been stressing. You're, as Lizzo would say, you are way too fine to be this stressed. And Spirit is saying, take a load off. Stop spinning out your wheels. Stop taking on more things than you know that you should. Take a deep breath. It's okay to take things one day at a time and to focus on the 24 hours in front of you instead of the months and months and months of what might be grueling work. It's okay to stop and gain a new perspective. Nothing bad is going to happen to you if you take a pause. Then we have for you, over the nature card, we have the Fool. And we have the Three of Wands. So getting out in nature, it's going to make you feel so much lighter. Look at the yellow that is presented here with nature. Yellow is a sunny, happy, bright, positive color and a positive omen. And Spirit is saying that with this nature card, if you go outside, smell the fresh air, ground yourself, you're not only going to get a new sense of awe and wonder, you're going to feel like good things are possible. Because I get the sense that you haven't really felt that for a while. You've been feeling like you're all on your own. The universe has really dropped you. And some people can have nice things in their life, or they can have their manifestations happen, but it's not for you. And I'm telling you, if you go outside, I know it sounds too good to be true, but that's why, again, you're here and you're listening. Spirit says that you will actually increase the joy that you feel. Your vitality will return to you through letting that energy come off of you out in nature. I always recommend, even if people think that you look silly, forget about them. Go hug a tree. Like, I know that's some hippy dippy nonsense. They do it because it works. Go hug a tree, and you can even ask that tree to take the negative energy that you are feeling from you, because trees have this beautiful ability. So does like the grass and the earth beneath you, but I think trees really have so much wisdom. They've been here well before we were. But actually, like, asking that tree to take the energy that you're feeling and to help you regain vitality. And I swear to you, you will leave that, like, you will walk away from that tree feeling better. Just try it. Trust me. Trust me on this one. Your vitality will return and your sense of awe and wonder will return. Then we have withdraw, and you have the Knight of Swords, and you have death. And I think this card is really here to tell you that it's time for you to stop being so social. Maybe you fill a lot of your time with other people. Even if it's like in a virtual sense, that still counts. You know, if you're using your voice in some type of way, maybe you also could be somebody that like works at a call center. You use your voice in some kind of way. And Spirit is actually saying that you need to get clear on how you want to use your voice. Do you want to sing? Do you want to speak? Do you want to commentate? Do you want to podcast? You need to get clear on how you want to use your voice going forward. and allow what you don't want to fall away. The withdrawal is really important because it allows you the clarity that you need. Even if you have to tell people in your life, hey, right now, I really just need to kind of hermit up. Me and my bestie, we call it hermit time. We'll tell each other, hey, I need to hermit for a little bit right now. And like I'm just not going to be around my phone for possibly like the next week. I really need to hermit. I really need to be on my own right now. Um, and it's okay. It's all right to ask for that kind of space and time. If there's anybody, I say this because I know that a lot of you that come to my channel are recovering people pleasers because you tell me. And if this is you and this is like resonating, can you please leave a green heart comment down below? I just want to know because I am also a recovering people pleaser. So I get it. I need to like know that I'm not alone. But with withdrawing, this might be something that feels scary. I also have a podcast where I talked about this. I think it's like, I want to say it was like in my like new month, new energy. I put it out at the beginning of September. If you want to give it a listen, I talked a lot about this, about withdrawing from social situations when that really stresses you out to walk away. But I do feel like Spirit is asking you to kind of reserve your voice and really let the things that you don't want to do fall away. And because the death card isn't about literal death, it's about a deep transformation that needs to happen. And you have been giving way too much of yourself, your energy, your voice, your time to things that don't actually matter to you. And Spirit wants you to get really deeply, intuitively clear on that because it's going to pave the way for you moving forward. Then we have for you just kind of as some final notes from Spirit. We have actually quite a bit still here. So I have a couple of cards from the Unshakable Peace Oracle that I'm going to share with you. These cards I feel like are great. Like if you need a deck, I will link it down below. If you ever need a deck that I feel like is good to turn to if you're having a lot of like anxious or worrisome thoughts, this is a deck to me that always really speaks to that and can help you kind of decode. So I'll link it down below for you if you want it. It has a great guidebook as well. But you got card number 44, which like hello master number 44. It says, come together, we need each other. Where have you been separating yourself or pushing against others and the world? So what's funny is you're being told to separate yourself. You're being told to withdraw inward a little bit. But we also have for you, you need to recognize where maybe you've been against others in your life. And the withdrawal is important because you need to get clear on that because none of us really are separate. Sorry, I was asking Spirit like internally, is there more to say on that? And they said no. So we also have rest, renew, recharge. What does your body crave and need right now? So this is, 43 and 44. I gave these such a good shuffle too, and I use them a lot. So I usually don't get consecutive numbered cards together. Rest, renew, recharge. What does your body crave and need right now? So as you're going through, especially the withdrawal or changing, you know what? That's interesting. I just got a message. This is very specific. It's not going to be every person, but the withdrawal for somebody here, it's a literal withdrawal. It's a physical withdrawal from stopping the abuse of like some kind of substance. And I know that's a really serious claim to make, but Spirit is saying that your life will literally transform if you go forward with this. And it's something that you need to go all the way in on. And don't be afraid to ask for help in that process because there is help available to you. But with rest, renew, recharge, what does your body crave and need right now? This is a really important question to just ask yourself at any point in time. I don't think this even has to be right now. This can be at any time. Make this a part of your habits to tap into your body and ask your body, what do you need right now? Do you need a bath? Let's run a bath. Do you need a massage? If you can and have the means, book that massage or give yourself a massage. Do you need to rest? Rest. Do you need to feel soft things and eat cozy snacks? Do that. Do you need a salad? Do that. Do you need a stew? Make that. Do you need, anything that sounds like your body truly is wanting it? Give that to yourself, and don't be afraid, again, to rest, renew, recharge. You don't have to be on the hamster wheel all the time, doing it all and taking on too much. And then lastly, I have the card of the cosmic egg for you. And this is big because this card, there's only a few of them in the deck. In this Wild Unknown Animal Spirit guidebook by Kim Kranz. It's just the book that comes with the cards. Again, I link all the cards down below. But this card is one that I feel like there aren't very many, and this one I think is actually the final card in the deck too. So it's like no small potatoes. This one's pretty major. But this, I think, is really a promise coming to you from the universe if you heed this information that I've just given you from your guides. They are saying, I'm going to read this to you directly out of the book. The cosmic egg, completion, harmony, the infinite within the finite. Yeah, that's right. The cosmic egg is the final card in the journey of the animal spirit deck, and it represents the unfolding of cosmic consciousness. The state emerges after we have tread the path for quite some time, and through self-effort and grace, we experience self-realization. A sense of contentment and oneness spontaneously arises within us, and the veils of our self-limiting beliefs are lifted. When the essence of the cosmic egg has not been activated, we may feel as if we will never get there, or that we travel alone, disconnected from others. Even if our encounter with this card is brief, appearing as a momentary glimmer or flash of interconnectedness, its potent energy stays with us. The cosmic egg is a remedy for the fragmentation of modern life. It's through the power of this card that we are reminded of the cosmic contract written at the beginning. We hold on to life, and life holds on to us. Oh, I just got the chills and a little emotional. I'm sorry. The journey is complete, but it does not end. The cosmic egg and the seventh chakra. The subtle essence of the cosmic egg resides at the crown chakra at the top of the head, called I'm going to butcher this, and I'm so sorry. Sahasrara. One of the aims of yoga and meditation practice is to channel energy from the base of the spine upward towards the crown. Each of the 6 lower chakras plays an important role along this journey, and once the final epicenter of consciousness is activated, it is said to radiate the light of 1,000,000 suns. So that is what I have for you, pile number 1. Thank you so much for tuning in. Truly, I just want to take a moment to say thank you for listening. I feel like I often don't say that enough. Just a genuine thank you to listening to my content, for choosing to click on this video. Thank you so much. Just by doing that alone, you have already supported my channel so much. And I really just want to express my gratitude to this community. You really mean the world to me, and I'm so lucky and grateful that you are part of it. And I also want to say that if you do want to support me a little bit more, just liking and commenting on the video is just like the best free way to do that, or even subscribing to the channel. So if you want to support me in that way, I would certainly appreciate it. Again, if you like the video, I know to make more videos like it, and commenting or subscribing just really boosts the engagement. So that, of course, will help me in regards to YouTube in general. I also want to mention to you, if you didn't know or you were unaware, I do have a Patreon where you can get more pick-a-cards from me on a monthly basis. I put out a couple extra, usually during the new moon. We also do new moon manifesting. Sometimes we do it live, sometimes it's pre-recorded, but you always get new moon content from me to kind of help you based off of your rising sign with like what to do with that new moon energy. And we do have an eclipse this week So I expect this one to be pretty major, and that should already be out if you're seeing this video. So make sure you tune into that if you want to. It is at the Cosmic Pumpkin tier and higher. I also put out weekly energies. It's a really good time. I love what we have on Patreon. And I recently made it to where if you subscribe, it doesn't matter what day of the month, you're always charged on that day the following month. So you don't get double charged. Patreon just like recently changed that. And you unlock like over 230 some odd plus posts from me right when you join. So there's like a ton of content over there. I also have my podcast, Divine Authenticity. It's available everywhere you listen to podcasts, Apple, Spotify. I do astro forecasts usually at every new and full moon. And I'm really big on like stepping into your hot girl energy or hot person or hot guy energy. So if you want to hear more on like how to live your best life most authentically, my podcast really is the place for you. It's available literally everywhere, and I would love to have you as a listener. If you would really like to go the extra mile, this is not a requirement. None of these things are. But I do have my Cashapp, Venmo, PayPal listed down below if you would like to tip me for one of my readings. I literally pour it straight back into the channel unless you leave me a note and tell me to do something different with it. I also have my wish list down below if you'd like to send me a gift. And if you'd like to follow me anywhere around the web, I have the official @Kloee Taylor handle. It's spelled exactly like it is here. No spaces, no periods, no extra letters, no underscores. I have my Instagram, my TikTok. I've recently been posting a little bit more to Twitter. I don't really use Twitter a ton, but it's kind of been a fun little soundboard as of late. I mostly just sit and quote Lizzo lyrics because she's a queen and I love her. But it's a good time and I really enjoy Twitter. So again, it's @Kloee Taylor everywhere. If you ever see somebody with a period, an underscore, extra E's, extra Y's, or numbers, please know it's not me. I have the official Kloee Taylor handle. Everybody else is a fraud and they will try to scam you. So be careful. I will never go directly to you to like try to get a reading out of your DMs. I'm not like that. I don't do stuff like that. It's always a scam. So just be aware if you decide to follow me on socials that those accounts do exist. They're not fun and we try to keep that energy out as best as we can. But in any case, I love you so much, Pumpkin. Please do not forget when you stand on your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. And I'll talk to you in the next one. All right. Bye. All right, pile number 2, if you chose the blue obsidian down here, then this is going to be your reading. We're just going to start with these cards. I wanted to show them to you close up because these are the 5 themes that your spirit guides really need you to hear about. And then we're going to clarify them with some more cards and get some extra messages from spirit on kind of how to deal with all of these things at the end. So first and foremost, we have for you the card of fate. We have the Sage. We have Paradox. We have the Alchemist. Oh my gosh, pile number 1 got the Alchemist as well. And Nature. Oh my gosh, pile number 1 also got the Nature card, and they got them in the same order. How funny. Okay, let me go ahead and fix these a little bit and get the focus right. There we go. So that's so funny. If you felt called to pile number 1, that could definitely be an indication that you need to listen to both, as you just got a couple of very similar cards to pile number 1. So number 1, the heart of your reading is Paradox. And I find this card to actually be, I don't want to say it's challenging. It's just a card that the concept of it's just a lot to take in. So I want to actually read this card directly out of the book just so we can really grasp it together. So we have this card is a reminder that we can hold 2 extremes at the same time. Sometimes we focus on things, whether internal or external, and see them as one-sided. But to hold the paradox within us requires strength. Excuse me. To see our most brilliant qualities and our most ugly, to acknowledge that they both live within us, is to get gateway is the gateway to growth. Carl Jung said, "The paradox is one of our most valuable spiritual possessions." And for anyone who does shadow work, they know this to be true. But this can also be difficult for many people. If we have been raised in a rigid environment where things are viewed as black and white, it may be hard for us to accept our flaws, let alone love them. One of the best ways to slowly enter a relationship with our internal paradox is to remind ourselves that we did not create these things within us. We inherited them. It does not define us, and yet we are responsible for it. To work more deeply with paradox as you witness yourself throughout the day, identify what types of thoughts you have more of, positive or negative. From there, find the polar extreme. For example, maybe you thought, "I'm so fucking lazy." Acknowledge a couple things that make that true, then find the polar opposite, i.e., hardworking, and acknowledge a few things or experiences that prove that you are hardworking. So, it's literally holding the opposite of extremes. And this could be your own internal extremes. It could also be extremes when it comes to others. And we'll clarify this and see exactly what Spirit wants you to know in just a minute. I just want to go over the others. So we also have the Alchemist, which tells me that this is about turning a negative situation into a positive situation. So this is about changing. Basically, lead into gold is like the true form of the alchemist to me, and we'll see what situation that is in a moment. We also have the Sage, which I actually love the Sage. I think it is a card that not enough of us, myself included, remember. Like, a sage is someone that is extremely wise, but the thing with the sage is they're not just like spouting off information and trying to force people to wake up to what they know. They are calm, collected, and they wait for people to ask for that information. And if they don't ask, you can't really be mad when they don't accept what you're saying to them. And it can be a difficult position to be in, but I think the sage often is like the reality check that if you are really wise, you need to hear. Because I have definitely been that person. I am the first person who will out myself. I'm not sitting here trying to shame you. I definitely fall into this where I feel like I have so much wisdom on a sector and I see somebody struggling and I'm just like spewing information and I just want to help them and I want to get them out of that position. And ultimately, if they're not asking for help, you need to kind of just like let them do what they're doing. Obviously, there are some patterns that can be highly destructive or dangerous, and that is a different situation entirely. I'm speaking more to the wisdom that you may have collected over time in your life that has deeply helped you. It's channeling your inner knowing that you need to just live by your own rules, live your life in a way that makes you feel good and not try to force that lifestyle on someone else. So we'll get into the nitty gritty of that as well in a minute. Then we have for you the card of nature, which this card literally is exactly what it says. It's about getting in touch with nature and why you need to, how nature can help you. Again, we'll get into it. And then the card of fate, which I really love. I feel like this card is one of the like bigger cards. I say bigger, like it's one of the cards that inspired the entire deck and the brand of Threads of Fate, which is like where all the main significator cards came from today. And this is about you being the creator of your own fate, and that some of the lessons and experiences that you'll go through, you will not be able to escape, but you always have free will and you can decide how you're going to react to situations. Your life doesn't just spin out of control. You do have a semblance of what you can do and how you can engage with life, because that's kind of it. You can't always dictate what is going to happen in your life, but you can always stop, take a breath, and respond in a way that is in alignment with the person that you are and came here to be. So we're going to go ahead and put some clarifying cards down and just see what it is that Spirit is really trying to communicate with you with these 5 different topics. So number 1, the paradox, the heart of your reading. The paradox, this is for you the Page of Swords. I said, actually, no, I'm sorry. That's not the right order. This for you is the Three of Swords. So the Three of Swords and Judgment. Oh my gosh, sometimes the cards really are just so literal. Um, so the Three of Swords and Judgment, this is about how you judge yourself and how you judge others. Because you might even know somebody who is like this too, and Spirit is like calling you to pay attention to this person and like recognize that they are a part of your life because you have an internal judgment that holds on to them. Also, I just want to apologize to you, pile number two. If you hear anything in the microphone or in the background, I don't know why there is a car blasting music in the parking lot and they're just like parked. They're not moving or going away. So I apologize if you can hear any kind of like beat steady drum in the background. If you're wearing headphones, you'd probably hear it. It's just not stopping. But the Three of Swords and Judgment, that's exactly what it is. It's like the things that we judge, and everybody judges. There is not a single living soul on this planet that doesn't express some kind of judgment towards somebody in their life. And this is a reminder that where you judge others, you have to stop and reflect and ask yourself where that judgment is coming from. Like, even for myself, okay, I'll give you a personal example where I feel like I don't know if this is just like the Taurus in me. All my Tauruses rise up. I don't know if this is just the Taurus in me, but I'm the kind of person that somebody can bring the same problem to me 10 times. And I will give like wisdom and advice if that's what they're asking for. But that 11th time that you roll up to my door and you try to ask about the same situation on that 11th time, I am going to lay into you and be like, no, I'm not going to sit here and keep giving you the advice that you're not going to take, and stop asking me. I'm not just going to sit here and be this chronic explainer helping you through this when you're not taking the things that I say seriously. I feel like when Taurus is done, they are done. And that goes for everything in life. Taurus, that's like Taurus's toxic trait, is we have all the compassion in the world, but when we are done, we are done. And I'm giving you this example because I even see in my own life where I could cast less judgment, where I could be easier on people, where I could practice radical empathy, which I truly believe. I don't like to think that I'm radical in any area of my life, but I feel like when it comes to empathy, I do believe in radical empathy. I think it will literally bring world peace if everybody was able to have more empathy for everybody's situations. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's judgment that we cast on other people's situations, what they're like, who they are, what they wear, what they listen to, how they drive. You know, when we cast so much judgment on people that we don't even know anything about them or their stories, it's because we often judge ourselves just as harshly. And this is a reminder that those parts of you, you probably witnessed somebody else in your life treat people that way first. And it's not even like you're a bad person or you like treat people terribly. I think this is more about your mind and how you talk to yourself and how you think about others. It's like your mind that will get you in trouble. And I don't think it's that you're actually rude or ugly or nasty to other people. I think it's more of an internal criticism, and you criticize what other people do internally. And it's because you have high criticism of yourself. I also feel like I'm getting like Spirit is saying like this is definitely big Virgo energy as well. If you have Virgo in your midheaven, sun, moon, rising, I would say that this can be very, very, very Virgo. Virgo tends to be very hypercritical, and that's why I bring it up. Also, rest assured that everybody has a Virgo placement in their chart. Even if it's not a planet, you'll have it in your houses somewhere represented by the 6th house. So just know that that criticism, it's allowed to be there, but you also need to come up with why it's not true. How can you hold that opposing and recognize within yourself why these parts of you are beautiful, why you are beautiful, why that person maybe cut you off in traffic because they just crap their pants and they need to go home. Like, you know, it's not always personal and we don't need to cast judgment everywhere. Maybe you have been in a situation where you've had to speed down the highway to make your plane that you were about to miss, you know? Everybody has those days, and this is about holding those extremes. It's actually very complicated. It's hard work. It's not easy. And this is a hard card to deal with, in my opinion. So, the next thing I want to talk about with you is the Alchemist. So we have the Four of Swords with the Alchemist, as well as the Six of Cups. So this is about where you need to create a positive from a negative in your life. Is you have been taught in your life that resting is wrong. You have been taught by parents, by guardians, by other figures in your life that resting is wrong, because the Four of Swords is the card of rest and the Six of Cups is the card of the past. Oftentimes this is generational. Like we have what looks like almost a parent passing a cup onto a child. You would be the child in this situation. Or you could be the parent now and you're trying not to pass this stuff on to your child. And Spirit is saying that you have the potential right now to lead by example and start resting, start paying attention to your inner world and give more to yourself so that future generations don't have to live with the upbringing that you had, where you were never able to rest, you were never able to take time out, you always had to be productive, or maybe you're somebody that was a high achiever or an overachiever. It's really, really important that even if you don't have children or you never want to have children, it's important to be the change that you want to see in the world. I say this all the time, even on my podcast, Divine Authenticity. New episodes every single Tuesday. If you want to tune in, it's available everywhere. I say this a lot on my podcast that, you know, I often feel a lot of shame around working less hours, and I have to remind myself that this is what I want in the world. I want people to stop working their 9 to 5s. I want people to feel comfortable working 4 to 5 hour work days and having longer weekends. That is the reality I want to see in today's world. And if I don't contribute to it, how are we ever going to start to create it if we don't see other people doing it to know that it's possible? So that's kind of the reality that I'm getting for you with the Alchemist in this situation is you need to be teaching yourself, even though it will be hard work. Like you were given this, but you need to teach yourself that it is okay and it is safe for you to rest. I've been seeing this trend on TikTok that I think would be really valuable for you, pile number 2, and that is like taping a picture of your childhood self on your bathroom mirror or somewhere where you can see it every day, and remind yourself that when you're mean to yourself, you're mean to them. You're mean to that inner child, and you need to give yourself the space and the grace to exist in a way that your inner child would thrive, because that is really what is hurting right now. Then we have for you with the Sage, we have the Queen of Wands. Love that energy for you. That's beautiful, especially with the Sage. Are you kidding? And the Magician. So kind of like what I was saying with the Sage earlier, having that sage wisdom and knowing when you need to share and when you need to back off. Spirit is saying with the Sage and the Queen of Wands and the Magician, that really is all you need to do. You need to lead your life with confidence and know that people that are curious about what you're doing, they're going to ask you what you're doing. They're going to ask you why you feel the way you do, why your life looks the way it does. You need to stop focusing on changing other people's perspective and work on just using your energy each day to the best of your ability. If you want to meditate every day and that makes you feel good and you're like, why is nobody else doing this? You need to practice meditating every day. Lead by example, because eventually either people are going to get upsetty spaghetti that they don't feel good and they see you feeling good. I feel like, I swear, in today's world, feeling good really is an act of rebellion, because I feel like everybody, especially like the media and what is projected at us, is constantly trying to keep us in this spiral loop of fear. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say there are not very real problems in today's world, but I'm also trying to remind you that you will not be able to help the problems of today's world if you are not good with yourself first. If you can't show up wholly with yourself first, how are you going to help solve these problems? And we need everybody that we can get. So it's really important that you do tend to yourself, that you do the things that make you feel good, but don't try to force those things on others. And recognize that you doing good for yourself is good enough, and be confident in that, knowing that there might be some people in your life that will never ask and they will never change. It's not your job to bring them with you. It is your job to, again, be the change that you want to see in the world. That is like your overall message, pile number 2. Then we have for you, over the card of nature, we have the 3 of Pentacles. And we also have the King of Pentacles. So I like this because what this says to me is that nature is trying to teach you that abundance is everywhere and that support is everywhere, because that is something that I feel like you might be lacking a little bit right now. Maybe you feel like you don't have a lot of friends or more people you can turn to, or like-minded individuals. Or maybe you feel like you're going to be stuck in your situation forever because you feel like you don't have like the money you need to get out of the situation you're in. And Spirit is saying you need to be spending more time in nature, because nature will show you the way. Like, number 1, what is a tree but a best friend? And there's so many of them, right? Trees, I don't care what anybody says, a tree can totally be your friend. And one of my best friends in the whole world, I want to say, brought this to my attention. And it was such a thought-provoking thing that I have continued to repeat it, is that, people were asked if they thought they could take care of nature, and they said yes. But then when they were asked if nature took care of them, they weren't sure, or they didn't know, or they said no. And I want to offer to you that where you don't feel supported in having more friendships, having more like-minded people around you, people that are interested in what you're interested in, I want to offer to you that the trees are, nature is. I promise that tree in your backyard, it will listen to all of your problems, and it will be so attentive to you, it won't even interrupt. There is support. And the King of Pentacles, this is like one of my favorite games to play. If you feel like abundance is not around you, I want you to remember that, number 1, money literally does grow on trees. What is money made out of but paper? And where does paper come from? Trees. Unless it's like recycled paper, then I'm not. Actually, isn't it still trees? Isn't it just like recycled paper that came from trees? I'm not sure how all that works. But I often, especially where I live in the Pacific Northwest, I'm surrounded by evergreen trees. And being here, I literally play this game where I look at all the individual pine needles on a tree. You can't count them all. There's too many. You would never be able to count them all. And I remind myself that money literally does grow on trees. And what if every single pine needle was a $20 bill? What would that look like? What would that feel like? Girl, I would be outside raking every day. And abundance really does work like that. When you get into the flow of, and I've been in and out of that flow, so I totally understand being on the outside looking in. But when you're in it, it's like, oh, how could I ever not see it this way? How did I ever think that abundance wasn't always readily available to me? And Spirit is saying you need to connect more with nature and with the abundance of nature to start seeing it in your outside reality. I feel like, especially post 2020, obviously I know not everybody spent time at home. There were many people being frontline workers. There were many people that had to really struggle through that. And I want to say thank you, number 1, and express my gratitude that you literally kept the world alive and continuing to function, whether you were a medical worker, a grocer, no matter what you did. Thank you for your service. But I do feel like since post 2020, not everybody, but many people have spent a lot of time indoors. And for a good reason. I'm not trying to say that you shouldn't have done that, for good reason. But I do think that it has led us to not leaving the walls of our house as much as we maybe used to. And it's really important that even if you're just around your neighborhood or your backyard, you got to get outside more. Your spirit guides are begging you to spend more time outside. And then lastly, before we get into some little extra advice for you, we have with the Fate card, the Page of Swords and the Eight of Swords. Oh, bestie. The Eight of Swords is really slaying. Okay. Bestie, this might be a hard pill to swallow. Please put a pill emoji in the comments if this was a hard pill to swallow, because I think we do have a pill emoji. You have to step out of the victimhood. The Eight of Swords is about being blindsided by victim mentality and not taking control of your destiny or of your fate. Please remember, yes, there are situations in your life that you could not see coming, that you would not be able to control even if you tried. But remember, your response to those things is always optional. You always get to decide how you will respond to what is going on. And it's like you have set up all these belief systems of why you can't respond in certain ways, why you can't walk away, why you can't set a boundary, why you can't tell somebody, actually, this doesn't work for me, or my dream is this, and we no longer have that commonality, and maybe it's time that we say goodbye to each other, or this is the thing I really want. And I feel like you're surrounded by people that don't want what you want. There might be some, like, I'm not saying you have zero support, but I feel like you're surrounded in your everyday life by people who don't want what you want. And like, that is the swords. You're feeling stuck and you're having these really deeply unsettling, stuck feelings because you believe that you have to carry them with you, with this Sage card as well coming out. You don't. You can actually make decisions that have your best interests in mind without having to always consider everybody else, because you hurt yourself. You start a war within yourself when you don't do what feels right for you. And with the Page of Swords, sorry, I couldn't remember if it was the Knight or the Page. With the Page of Swords, this just tells me that you might even be dealing with an immature person. I hesitate to say it. You know, we always want to think the best of people in our life, but the Page of Swords is often somebody that lacks maturity for a situation, or I don't think it's you. I don't think you are the immature person, especially as you've come through as a Queen of Wands and a magician. I don't think it's you that is immature. I think there is somebody in your midst that maybe says immature things or doesn't see the world the way that you do because they have not done the work that you've done. And it's honestly time for you to set the appropriate boundaries and to take your fate back into your own hands, because you've honestly given so much of your power away to this situation. And I think you keep waiting for the right time. And Spirit is saying there is not a right time. Your fate is literally happening right now in the present moment. And don't get me wrong, like, if you're doing something right now with your time that, like, you're in a pottery class, okay, and you've signed up for the next 4 weeks, you know, obviously, like, finish the things that you want to finish, but you need to hatch a plan with how you're going to take this power back. Give yourself a date. Set a date. Buy the plane ticket. Sign the contract to move into the apartment. Set a date with yourself. Put it on a sticky note and put it somewhere where you can see it, because Spirit really does honor action. And if you set that with yourself, stick to it. That's something that I've always really valued, even in my own life, is, don't get me wrong, I don't think we always need to be so hard on ourselves all the time. But I do think if you're waiting for the fire under your butt, if you're waiting for the motivation, if you're waiting for, stop waiting. Sword cards are not about waiting. They are about swift forward momentum. There is no waiting when it comes to sword energy. And even if you wake up and that day just feels like a bad day from the start, you have the power to make that day into whatever day you want. And if you're waiting for motivation, I feel like that's like one of the biggest lies that we are sold on as a society, that we have to wait for the motivation to do something. And it's actually with consistency and repetition that motivation comes. That's when like the true motivation comes, is when you're already in the thick of it. There's like that spark of something in the beginning, but it's through, to me, the consistency, the self-mastery, that we are able to create true inspiring motivation that keeps us going. You have to show up on the days even when you don't feel like it, even on the days when it doesn't sound like it's the greatest idea. Again, make space for your rest, because that's really important. Spirit literally snapped and said, rest. Don't give this energy of needing to be overproductive to anybody else in your life, including yourself. But when it comes to taking back your power, don't wait another moment. And we have some extra cards for you as well. So we have turn your worry into wonder, surrender to the experience. What possibilities can you dream into reality? So this card tells me that you need to pay attention to the things that you desire in this lifetime, because oftentimes desire is very misconstrued and people like put down people that have big dreams or big goals or big desires. Like, are you kidding, y'all? When I would tell people in my life that I wanted to like live in a fancy mansion, I was always met with this energy of like, but do you need all that? Would that make you happy? You know, there's so many people that would like question this. And you can just want a mansion. You can just want to be a multimillionaire. You can just want to change your name and move to another country. You can just want to become an artist and like live off of that. You can just want to have a big family. You can just want to meet your soulmate, and I don't know, I'm just like throwing things out here, okay? Like, you can want the Balenciaga, you can want the Louis Vuitton shoes, you can want to have a safe full of designer bags, you can want to start your own makeup line. There is nothing wrong with desiring things. Nothing. Desire is actually one of our most potent things, that potent energies that helps us to move forward. Because when you desire something, you'll stop at nothing to get it. And oftentimes that is what gives us the fire to move forward, is when we desire to have an experience or an item or something of that nature. Sorry, my recording stopped for a second there. So sorry if there was like a still frame or what have you. These readings are long-winded today, friends. But what possibilities can you dream into reality? Let yourself dream. Turn the things that you're worrying about into wonder. Follow those thoughts. Then we have, you heal by releasing, not suppressing. What emotions do you need to feel? Oh my gosh. And this person's going through like a maze. Do you see that? Let me look at this closer, actually. And they're almost to the center of it. There's like a labyrinth is what that's called, actually. There's like a person walking through a labyrinth in the middle of a bunch of amethyst. It's like a very like intuitive inner knowing. You heal by releasing, not suppressing. What emotions do you need to feel? So if you haven't been feeling free, if you haven't been feeling like you can escape, if you haven't been feeling like you are in control of your destiny, of your fate, it's time to start letting that out and not snuffing out every desire that you have. Let yourself feel through the experience. Get excited about it. And lastly, we have for you the animal medicine of the eagle. So eagles might just be really important to you. You might have seen them a lot before. We're actually going to read this one right out of the book because I don't know all of these cards by heart. but they're all really fabulous. I love Kim Kranz. That's the maker of this deck. Kim Kranz's work is one of my favorites. I have every deck that she has ever made. Okay, so the eagle says, all pervading power truth seeker transforms karma. The noble eagle emanates the light of the sun. This great bird is both physically and spiritually strong and represents mastery over the elements of fire and air. When the eagle appears, you'll soon be thrown into the karmic fire for the sake of your transformation. The eagle pushes us to be our best and brightest selves and stops at nothing to see us shine. Grasp the sun in your talons and hold on for the ride. You are stronger than you think, eagle child. Ooh, I just got the chills, y'all. So eagles might be just really specific to you. Maybe you like have seen them a lot. They might just be a message from your spiritual team, but also you are in the thick of a great transformation taking place in your life right now. And this is why you were drawn to this reading. It's why you needed this advice. And where you see eagles in your life, oh my gosh, I don't know if you heard that, but my computer just went do right when I said that. And that's so funny. I usually, Stargirl the Practical Witch, or excuse me, I think her name is like Anita Serene or Siren now. She does that in her videos. She leaves like her phone on, and if it dings or rings or something happens, like I am a firm believer that that is true, that when like you hear a noise or like a picture falls off your fridge or like your life is always giving you signs as to what is going on around you. And I feel like right when I said that, my computer was all do. I don't know if that you heard it in the microphone or not, but that to me is just a strong indication of like, I'm speaking the truth to you. Spirit is really here coming through for you if you chose this pile. And this is just what you needed to know right now. So I hope this helped you out, pile number 2. Thank you so much for tuning in. I want to say that just from like the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for listening to my content. Thank you for listening to this video. Thank you for clicking on my channel. I really appreciate it. I don't think that I say thank you enough. And I just really wanted to take time at the end of your reading to just say thank you. And to say that if you would like to support me, you have absolutely already done enough by just tuning in. But if you would like to, and you like this video and you want to see more stuff like this, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and leave me a comment. If this resonated, please put a pill emoji in my comments down below for me. It really helps the video get seen by more. And it also reminds me to know that like, oh, this video really hit and I want to channel that way again. So please, if you feel up to it, consider that. But again, just you listening is more than enough. Another thing I want to mention to you is that I do have a Patreon if you want to get some extra pick of cards from me. If you want to get some new moon. I do workshops basically. Sometimes they're live, sometimes they're pre-recorded, but there is one that is going out that is going to be all about the new moon eclipse that we are experiencing this week, the week that this goes out. That information will be available to you at the Patreon, so make sure you check that out. At the Cosmic Pumpkin tier is where you can get the workshop. I also put out weekly energy updates every week for the collective on my Patreon and so much more. It also just supports me as a creator to do what I do, so if you were considering it, this is, in my opinion, a really good time for it. I also have my podcast available to you on every platform, including Apple, Spotify, Google, and so much more. Divine Authenticity is what it's called, and I put out new episodes every Tuesday. Sometimes I do a double feature, and we'll do Tuesday and Friday, but if you like magic, mysticism, authenticity, if you like new moon and full moon astrology forecasts, that is a lot of what my podcast focuses on, as well as I always like to say like hot girl energy or like hot guy energy, hot person energy. I feel like I'm somebody that I am really into like being motivational and getting motivated and like really accomplishing your goals and manifesting your dream life into reality while being your most authentic self. So if that's something that you're into, check out the podcast, links down below. If you would like to go the super extra mile, please do not feel like you have to. It is never an expectation, but I do accept tips for my readings. My Cashapp, Venmo, and PayPal are listed down below for you if you would like to tip me. I pour everything back into my channel, but if you tell me to do something else with it in like the footnotes, I will. Sometimes people will be like, go get dinner, and I'll go get dinner. But like, usually I just pour it back into the channel for like camera gear, cards, candles, things like that. And I also have my wish list if you would like to send me a gift. And last but certainly not least, I have my socials, my TikTok, my Instagram. Recently, I've been shit posting a little bit on Twitter. I'm at Kloee Taylor everywhere. No extra letters, no periods, no underscores, no numbers. I am the at Kloee Taylor handle. If you see any others out there, they are not me. They are imposters. And they are rude. They will slide into your DMs and they will try to like get you to book a reading with them. I would never do that to you. I actually do not offer private readings at this time. My readings are completely closed. So if you see that going on, it's absolutely not me. In any case, I would still love to have you on my socials, though. I think we have a good time. And I love you very much, Pumpkin. Thank you so much for tuning in. I have so much gratitude for you, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot to say, please do not forget, when you stand in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. All right, bye. All right, pile number 3. If you chose the Lumen Oracle as well as the Rose Quartz Crystal here, this is going to be your reading. So I want to show you these cards up close just because they do have the foiling and sometimes they can be hard to see at certain angles. So we're going to start out with the 5 major themes, and then I'll be clarifying these themes for you, and then we'll get into some extra cards as well. So the first thing is the Void. Ooh, this is going to be the heart of your reading. Then we have for you Strength. Then we have for you Self-Love. Trying to get these to show up for you as best as I can. Then we have Destruction. And finally, Paradox. Oh, interesting. Pile number 2 had Paradox in it as well. So basically, each of these things represent a different theme that your spiritual team wants you to be aware of. And like I said, we're going to go through and clarify with some extra cards exactly what your spiritual team is wanting you to know. Just let me refocus the camera. There we go. So we're going to start by first just talking about each theme. So number 1, we have the Void at the center of your reading. This is the heart of your reading. And this card comes with the message that right now you might be in the void. You might feel like nothing in your life makes sense. You might feel like nothing is really grabbing your attention. You might feel like you're on a little bit of autopilot while life is just moving. And you also might feel like you just want to kind of shut the entire world out. And I wouldn't even say that the void is so much a shutting out. It's not that you're doing anything. The void to me is almost like a frozen solid state that you are kind of put into whether you want to be there or not. And not a lot is happening in the void, but we're going to get into like why this is coming up and what that's about. But we'll do that with some more cards. I just want to talk a little bit more about the other themes that I'm seeing here. So we also have Strength, which I feel like Strength is very self-explanatory. It's the card that symbolizes inner strength, wisdom, having strength through what we're going through. And I also feel like because this card has a leaf and some roots, this definitely is talking about having the strength of your ancestors as well, people who have come before you and maybe dealt with things that you're dealing with now. We also have Destruction, which I feel like this card is actually a lot more like positive and powerful than you would maybe think, because destruction can actually be a good thing as well. When there are things in your life that you are not really happy with, being able to have the power to destroy them is a good thing. So we'll look at that as well. We also have the card of self-love, as I said, which I feel like, again, very self-explanatory along with strength. I feel like these two things, strength and self-love, are actually two of the things that you are gaining from this void space. And paradox is all about holding the opposing extremes. It is all about how you might have opinion and somebody else has an opinion of a topic, and two things can be true. Like, um, for example, I recently, and I'm not trying to put anybody on blast or anything, but like in a recent reading that I put out, I had somebody in the community really get upset that I use the term deceased loved one, even though I work with past loved ones a lot. I work with, like, your spirit guides are often people that have come before you that have already passed on. That's very common for me to connect with people that are no longer here. But to one person, that title of that video could be a very healing thing. Getting a message from somebody that has passed on, it could be the closure that they needed. Whereas another person, that could have been really triggering, right? And that was basically the argument of that person, was that it was very triggering to see that. And I feel like that's kind of one of those situations. That is, to me, a paradox. It is the truth of something that is very healing for one person can be very catastrophic for another person. And that is the paradox. That is the opposing extremes. And I also want to clarify that the person that called me out on that, like, I don't have any like hard feelings. I'm literally just talking about it because it is paradoxical. It is paradoxical in the sense that it's two really like different sides of a coin, and they can both be true at the same time. One person can be very triggered by something while one person can feel really healed by the same thing. And it's holding those two opposing forces that is the paradox. And it's a really hard place to find yourself in when like your truth is true and somebody else's truth is true at the same time. They just kind of are, and they're often very uncomfortable. So we're going to get to the bottom of like what these mean for you specifically right now. So we're going to use some cards from the Witch's Tarot to clarify each of these. And we're going to start with that middle card, which is the Void. So we have with the Void the World, and we also have the Queen of Swords. So the World and the Queen of Swords with the Void. So you are in this void liminal space right now because a chapter of your life is closing and a new one is beginning, but you are in the space in between right now. And like the Queen of Swords is interesting to me that this would have popped out for you, because the Queen of Swords is all about like setting boundaries, being really aware of how your energy affects other people, but also not trying to manipulate that, not trying to control how others see you, just laying down firm boundaries, saying what you need to say, and not taking no for an answer. And I feel like right now, as you are in this like liminal void space, waiting for the next thing to happen or waiting for the next spark of joy or light to enter your life that you're going to kind of move towards. Because that's like the one sure thing that I want to tell you, pile number 3, is that when you are in the void, you will not be there forever. Like, you will leave. I promise. I promise you, if you are in this really uncomfortable position right now where you feel like nothing makes sense, life is not moving forward, you're just here, you're just existing, and it feels uncomfortable, you will leave the void. It will happen. And usually the first thing that happens is there is a spark that kind of lights us up, and we go, ah, there it is again. There's that spark. There's that joy. I want to chase that. And you will slowly emerge from the void when the time is right. And so I do feel like this Queen of Swords, it's kind of giving you the power to ask yourself what it is that you want in life. What kind of boundaries do you want to have? What kind of person do you want to be? How do you want to carry yourself? Who do you want to be in this life? And when you're ready to emerge from this state, that's how you're going to come with like such a force and such power and strength because of what you have seen, what you've been through, and this waiting phase that you've been in. So the next card we're going to talk about is Strength. We have the Eight of Pentacles. Love that. And we have the Sun. So if you have been, this is my creative pile. If you are like a creative entrepreneur, I feel like I always have a pile for you. And as a creative entrepreneur myself, I feel like it's, of course, you would be attracted to my channel and my readings and the way that I channel. But I feel like with this card here, with these cards here describing strength, you're being asked to really endure right now and to keep creating, keep putting pen to paper, keep filming videos and editing them, keep making the Instagram posts, keep making the TikToks, keep making your art, singing your song, dancing your dance, okay? You are being asked to keep working on it because you are so close to a breakthrough. You are so close to something really amazing happening because the Sun is all about victory and having the power to overcome and having the strength, the willpower. And I got to tell you something, pile number 3. If you're watching this when it's current, which is not necessary, like you don't have to watch my readings right when they come out. I honestly try to channel them for, unless it's like a specific, like this is for November 2022 or something, that's different. But I try to channel my readings with the emphasis that people will watch them at any point in time that it's right for them. But with the Sun card here and strength and the Eight of Pentacles, this, I really want to say, if you're watching when it's current, the day that I'm filming this, which is not the day that you'll be seeing it, but it still applies because it's like this week. We have Saturn moving direct in the sign of Aquarius, tropical astrology. And if you have been feeling like you have been stagnating, especially with your career, it is about to get wide the fuck open, blown open, okay? It is about to be like pushed forward in a way that you have never seen it before. Like, especially if you're a creator that like you have to focus on content creation or like being a social media creator to get your business out there. This is like having your TikTok blow up, having a video blow up, having like the right attention focused on you. And it's because you have remained consistent. That's all Saturn wants. When Saturn goes retrograde, it is asking you to remain strong and consistent, even when times are thin or tough or bare. And you are entering a phase where all of that hard work is literally about to pay off. So don't stop, keep going, keep your wits about you, keep your strength about you, and don't stop creating now. Don't give up now. Keep going forward. Then we have for you the card of self-love. We have this paired with the Hermit, which I absolutely adore. I think this is such a good combination for you. And we have the Page of Pentacles. So you also might be going through a time period right now, pile number 3, where as you're in this void, you also might not be wanting to communicate as much with others. And you really should capitalize on this time to be really internal and intentional with how you spend your time and who you spend it with. Because look at this. The Hermit literally is this woman or this female forward-facing figure that is taking her computer and she's closing it. And it's not being forced away from others. It's actually, this is my time. I'm going to sink into this and I'm not going to let other people affect my vibe. I'm not going to let other people come in here and trample on the way that I feel because this is for me. I get to hold this. If I feel good, I'm going to keep letting myself feel good. If I feel bad, I'm going to let myself feel my feelings to the fullest. And I'm not going to distract myself with analytics, with comments, with even other people in your life that maybe are naysayers of what you're trying to do. You are going to be creating these boundaries. Your reading is very much about that in general. And the Hermit with self-love, this is about loving on yourself, doing it yourself, and not expecting it from other people. The Page of Pentacles tells me that this is very cute, actually. Your spiritual team says that it's really appropriate for you to spend a little money on yourself right now. Like if you have been really wanting to do your nails at home, buy yourself some stuff to do your nails at home. If you have been really wanting to learn a new language, like, don't be afraid to like put $5 into Duolingo. I don't know how Duolingo works. Like, I don't know. I think there's a paid version of the app, but I don't know if you can like buy things like in-app purchasing. But like, if there's something that you want to give to yourself right now that is like a hobby or something that will make you feel good, Spirit is literally giving you permission and saying, even if you feel like you lack the finances right now, they are going to be coming in such full force into your bank account. Because you also have the Eight of Pentacles, which I didn't say because I forgot. I'm sorry. The Eight of Pentacles is also about increasing your revenue, increasing what you make, because you have remained consistent. So the Page of Pentacles, though, is actually putting your financial well-being towards something. And this is literally giving you permission to just spend a little extra on yourself. You know, don't buy the bottom shelf bottle, buy something mid-tier or at the top. You know, that whatever you spend, Spirit is giving you permission to do something kind for yourself, because that money will be replaced. And this doesn't mean like go and clear all of your accounts and like go wild. It's the Page of Pentacles, Henny, not the King. This is just spending a little extra on yourself. And I'm not trying to tell you to be like irresponsible with your finances. This is just spending a little bit extra. Then we have over the card of destruction. This is really interesting to me. We have the Nine of Swords and the Six of Pentacles. I think you're a little bit scared of change right now, of something being wiped out of your life. And there's a lot of worry that's coming with this. If I take this out, if I change this part of my business, if I don't do this thing, if I don't always make myself available, I'm going to ruin everything. And your spiritual team wants you to know that keeping yourself on all the time and working the way that you have in the past, the consistency is excellent. Keep doing that. But making yourself available to everyone 24/7 and not letting yourself exist in this hermit mode, in this void, giving to yourself in this way, it will lead to destruction of a different kind. It will lead to the demise and the destruction of what you've been building, and not in the way that you want it. So it's time to reassemble the way that you treat what you're building, because I feel like you think that everything is in balance and you're giving and taking in the same amount, but you're not. You're actually giving out a lot more than you're receiving, and it's hurting you. And because of that, Spirit is saying, like, you really need to work on shifting this habit. Like, please know, if you are somebody that, again, is in the creative field, is working on something, maybe you're an entrepreneur or business owner of some kind, this is definitely your pile. You are way too hard on yourself about this. Like, you think if you breathe wrong in one direction, the whole house of cards is going to come down on you. And I promise you it's not. That is not what this destruction card is here to tell you. It's actually telling you that a lot of the destruction that you think is going to come is all in your head. And it's not real. You're creating problems for yourself that aren't there. And if you actually sink back and let this happen, you're going to find that things move together so much easier for you. You're able to give and receive in equal amounts in a beautiful exchange, instead of pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. And oh my gosh, I got to post a TikTok 20 times a day, and I got to make 6 videos a week, and I had to post every day. And oh my gosh, if I don't, everything is going to fall apart and it's not going to work and I'm going to be on the back burner. No. These are all just thoughts, and you make yourself so worried and fired up about it that you're not able to see that the divine wants to work with you in creating more balance and letting you sink into yourself a little bit more. Because there's been a lot of creating and pushing forward on your ideas, which are great things. This energy works really well for you. I sense that you're somebody that works extremely hard, and I think there's a part of you that really enjoys it, which is a good thing. But if you keep going without stopping, I promise, from one content creator to another, you will burn out. It will hit you, and it will hit you like a ton of bricks. So just pace yourself. It's okay to see seasons of high growth and seasons of more stagnancy. It's okay. Like people think when you get into content creation, I swear that your graph is just going to go like this straight up, right? And it's really more of an up and a down and an up and a down and an up and a down. And there are time periods where it is a straight upward line for quite some time, but then there are going to be time periods where it goes down a little bit. That's normal. It is like everything in our life is extremely cyclical, is very normal. So just know that the destruction you think is coming for you isn't. And there's actually a lot more generosity around you. If you've been feeling like maybe you've been left out in the cold recently, in your line of work, or even by like others, I promise that this is like, it's what you've been experiencing has actually made way for better. And then the paradox, we have the Four of Pentacles and the Lovers. The Four of Pentacles and the Lovers. Remember, this is like holding extremes. I feel like on one hand, you really want to be like holding on to every penny for dear life, holding on to every asset, every business venture, everything for dear life. And on the other hand, you want to sink into personal development work, into your shadow, into yourself. Or maybe even like into someone else. Like there is this huge paradox going on between, you need to rebalance is what I'm hearing, like rebalance the energy that you put into worrying about your material world, like the things that you have and own going away, versus the internal work that you do. Because the reason that you're feeling so like, oh my gosh, I have to hold on to everything, everything's gonna go, I don't want change, I don't like change. Like the Four of Pentacles honestly is kind of I'm of a couple minds about it. On one hand, the Four of Pentacles can talk about like greed and holding everything too close, not giving enough. But on the other hand, it can also talk about having a lot of like safety nets that are going to catch you. And so it's all right to sink more into the deep work, to do what you need to do. And I think the paradox that's actually coming up is you feel like if you give more time to yourself, to your shadow work, to sinking more into your journal time, into you and discovering yourself, you're afraid that everything around you is going to crumble and fall apart. So you're clinging to everything when we need to create a little bit more of a lax mentality around not just doing the personal work, but also around holding so tightly onto things and letting things kind of flow like water. So I hope that that is helpful, but let's go ahead. We have some more cards still. We're not done. I have a couple. Oh my gosh, this card is so perfect for what I was just talking about. I love when tarot is like this. I don't read these cards before I deal them out. Like I shuffle them into piles, but like I don't look at them. So I love it when this happens and I'm just as shook as you are. So you have, this is just like some extra advice from your guides, like more gentle. I feel like some of these cards aren't very gentle, but I feel like a lot of them are. So we have, to receive, you must release. What can you let go of? What do you want to receive? I feel like this goes really good together with this paradox card, because the reason you're not receiving the flow that you would like to of like financial support, stability, business clients is you need to release the expectations that you put on yourself. You need to release this idea that you have to be this perfect kind of person to receive. Because don't get me wrong, I am all here for like, yeah, getting into the hot girl timeline, the hot guy, the hot person timeline, you know, whatever. I am all good and here for that energy and feeling like you want to like be up on your bullshit with your planner and like bullshit in a good way, not in a bad way. I'm calling myself out here a little bit too, because I feel like I get this way too. So I fully understand. But it's like, You think if you're not drinking 8 glasses of water, journaling twice a day, checking everything off your planner, meeting all of your deadlines, going to every appointment, making time for your friends, making time for your family, like you think if you are not being literally a robot, that you will not be able to receive. And I'm telling you, the universe has nothing but a desire to give to you. And when you let go of this perfectionist mentality of you have to cling on to everything, cling on to this identity, cling on to this kind of person you have to be in order to receive, and you let yourself just exist, that is when everything is going to flow like a straight line to you directly into your life. It is very paradoxical because you would think that clinging to it and pushing really hard and working really hard is going to get you results. Don't get me wrong. You go to the gym every day, you're going to get some results. And I feel the same way about spirituality, like going to the quote unquote spiritual gym every day, you're going to get results. But I don't think it has to be this, I got to grind every single day and make things happen. You can have days of reprieve. You can have bad days. You can have months in your business that aren't as high numbers as previous months, and it's okay. It doesn't mean you did something wrong. It doesn't mean you did anything to deserve it. Sometimes that's just how things are. And then, as if we couldn't get paradoxical enough, Spirit snapped with this one. The universe rewards motion. What guided action can you take today? So, this to me is something. I get messages like this a lot. And I think, I'm not laughing at you, I swear. Whenever I chuckle in my readings, please remember that I'm a Gemini moon. And I feel like I laugh when things are uncomfortable. Like I am that person that gets the funeral giggles. If you are like that, can you please leave me a skull emoji in the comments? Like you are a funeral laugher. Like you laugh when stuff is uncomfortable because you don't know what to do with it. Please tell me I'm not alone. Leave me a little skull emoji in the comments. So with the universe rewards motion, what guided action can you take today? You have to stop sitting in the planning phase. You have to stop creating new palettes. Unless your brand is literally helping other people build brands, then that totally makes sense. But for your personal brand, I feel like you constantly think you have to reinvent yourself in some way. Don't get me wrong. I think reinventing yourself periodically is powerful. Like, come on now. Stargirl the Practical Witch literally just reinvented her channel to be Anita. I don't remember if it was Serene or Siren. I don't know. I can't remember exactly, but like that's powerful. She's never done that. I'm not saying that reinventing yourself is bad. I think it can be a really big power move. But if you are having to reinvent yourself every other month, this to me says that there is there's not enough consistency. Where you've been consistent, you're going to be rewarded there, but there needs to be more consistency, less looking at the analytics, less stressing over the comments, less looking at what everybody else is doing and trying to do it better. This is about just when you have ideas that inspire you, do this for me, okay? Seriously. Open up your phone, make a list in your notes, whatever it is on Android, I'm not sure. In Apple, I think it's just called Notes. Make a new note and just put on there ideas. Every time you have an idea that comes to you for a new TikTok, a new reel, a new video, a new business project, a new art project, I want you to keep this list of ideas, because if you're somebody that you constantly search and search and search and search for ideas and inspiration, you're not going to get anywhere. You have to be willing to put action behind the things that are driving you forward. And if there ever comes a time where you're like, I don't know what to do next, I don't know what to do, I'm feeling stunted, open that list and see what sparks something in you. Sometimes, like, I have a list on my phone. I don't have my phone in here. Dang it. I wish I'd brought it with me. I would have showed it to you. I have a list that I keep on my notepad that is literally just tarot card ideas, like tarot pick a card ideas. And every time I get hit with one, I add it to my list and then I check ones off when I do them. And sometimes I'll even go to that list. I'll count how many are there and I'll tell Siri to pick a number between that and whatever. And I'll let Siri decide what we're going to read about if I can't decide. And that has been such a helpful tool to me when I'm really uncertain about what to create next. So I feel like you're getting stuck in this like analysis paralysis, and there's not enough action happening. There is in one sector of your business, but there's an area that you just keep searching and searching and asking yourself how you can be the next best thing. And you just need to start actually putting action behind it instead of just searching. And then lastly, final message from your guides is the vulture card. And we are going to read this one directly out of the book. This is from the Spirit Animal, the Wild Unknown Spirit or Animal Spirit, guidebook. And you got the vulture. So we're just going to see what that is about. I'm going to pull it out of the book. So the vulture, guardian and purifier, essential for rebalance. The vulture is perhaps the most misunderstood creature of all. This intriguing bird balances our ecosystem and prevents the spread of disease. It does the dirty work that no one else wants to do and cleans up our messes. The vulture appears when there's a situation that needs to be purified or brought back into balance. Remember, the vulture is greatly undervalued. What you thought was a mistake or tragedy is a blessing in disguise. So, even if there's something in your life right now that has been recently destroyed or this void that you have not wanted to be in, I feel like you're being told that this really is a blessing you're going to see very soon, that this had to be this way for a reason. Have you ever had one of those moments in your life where you don't know why you went through something, and then like 6 months down the road, this to me is like breaking up with a friend and being like, gosh, I don't know why I have to do this, but I really do. Like, I'm seeing where there's red flags and I need to amicably do this. And then 6 months later, like, I don't even know, like you see something crazy happen around them that really would have affected you. You realize, that's why that person had to be taken out of my life. Or like maybe they break up with you and you don't know why. But then later you see like the turn that their life has taken, and not that it's like they're doing something bad. It's you just realize that for you, that wouldn't have been healthy or good for you. So it's like something like that. There is something that is being changed in your life right now, especially as we're going through these eclipses too, that this is happening for a reason. And maybe even in business, like you've had to change something, or views dropped, or something isn't going the way that you had hoped, but it's happening as it's meant to for a reason. And you really need to just trust that. Trust the timing of your life. Trust what is happening. And that is what I have for you. Those are the different themes that your spirit guides really wanted to tell you about. So the first thing I want to say as we close out this reading, though, is thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for listening to my channel. Thank you for supporting me. And know that even you just being here viewing the video is more than enough. And I just really want to say from my whole heart, thank you so much. I really genuinely value you. I appreciate you. And just thank you. Thank you so much. If you want to support my channel in a free way, one of the best ways to do it is to leave a comment, leave a like, and subscribe to the channel. One or all three of those are excellent ways to do that. It really helps to boost this video, get more people to see it, and it also helps me to know that you want more videos like this one, because then I know like what to create in the future. And if you want to go the extra mile, I also have a Patreon that you can join where I put out exclusive pick a cards that you can't get anywhere else, including weekly energy readings. I also do new moon workshops at the Cosmic Pumpkin tier and higher, where you can learn more about your birth chart based off of your rising sign and what to kind of manifest with each new moon. There will be something out for the new moon eclipse. I don't typically recommend manifesting with eclipses, though I think it's up to the practitioner. But there will be some stuff out on the eclipse, which is possibly today. I'm not sure what day this video is going out. So join the Patreon if you want access to that. I also have my podcast, Divine Authenticity. New episodes go out every Tuesday. It's available everywhere you listen to podcasts. Sometimes we put out Friday episodes as well, but it's available on Apple, Spotify, Google, everywhere you listen, it's available. And it's mostly focused on getting into like the hottest timeline of your life, being your authentic self. And we also do new moon and full moon astrology forecasts. Sometimes those episodes do get made into videos on the channel, but not very many of them. So you are really missing out if you're not listening to the podcast. Definitely check it out if you're interested. If you'd really, really, really like to go the extra mile and you got a lot out of this reading, this is never an expectation, but always appreciated. I do accept tips for my readings. I have my Cashapp, Venmo, and PayPal listed down below for you. I also have a wish list if you would like to send me a gift. And last but certainly not least, I have my socials. I am at Kloee Taylor everywhere around the web. So like no periods, no underscores, no extra numbers, no extra letters. If you ever see that, those are scammer accounts. They're not me. I have the official Kloee Taylor handle, KLOEETAYLOR. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. I've recently been shit posting a little bit more on Twitter, so it'd be super, super cool if you wanted to join me there, but no pressure. It's just really if you want to. And please, my beautiful pumpkin, do not forget, when you stand in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. And I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye. All right, pile number 4. If you chose the rose deck as well as the angelite crystal back here, this is going to be your reading. So we're first going to look at the 5 themes that your spiritual team wants you to know about. Then we're going to clarify those themes as to what is actually being said. And then we have some extra messages as well at the end. So we're first going to do this. I'm showing you these cards close up because I feel like the reflective nature of them, sometimes they can be hard to see, so I want you to see them up close. So first and foremost, we have Get Wild. We have the Warrior. We have Share Wisdom. We have Underworld. And at the heart of your reading, we have the Magi. So I'm going to go ahead and just straighten these out, change the view so you can actually see them, and then we're going to talk about them. And like I said, I have cards that will clarify each of these to have them make a little more sense too. So hopefully this is straight enough. Why every time I say the word straight do I immediately want to say the word gay? I am an actual child. It's fine. Not really. I am a 31-year-old woman, but in any case, moving on. So at the heart of your reading, you have the Magi. Now, the Magi, I feel like as a significator for this reading, it's like the most important thing you're here to learn with this reading. With the Magi being here, the Magi is all about having a lot of really clear inner wisdom. And it's often like having to decode your own riddles, if that makes sense. Like the Magi sometimes can have a little bit of trickster energy within them. And with trickster energy, it's almost like you have a hard time uncovering your internal truth if this is about you. Or there could be somebody in your life, but I don't think it's that. I really got the notion when I pulled this card that it's about you. I mean, this reading is meant to focus around you, not necessarily other people. I mean, obviously sometimes we have people that come through, but this is also just really about examining the beliefs that you hold, because we often, like, the minute we think we know it all is the minute we go, oh crap, I actually don't know anything. And this is about like really navigating your inner world and recognizing where there is like a shaky foundation, if there is one. If there is anything that's been built on a shaky foundation or any beliefs that are just not supporting you, this is really about acknowledging those many beliefs and finding the core of why that belief is there, why you think the way you think about yourself or about others or about situations. And it honestly can be tricky. Like, this is one of those cards that I feel like if you have a hard time with this with yourself, this can be a good time to get somebody else involved. Talk to a friend about what you're thinking and feeling. Talk to a therapist if you're able. Talk to a family member that you trust. And try to get to the bottom of why certain things keep coming up, especially if there's a pattern for you that keeps repeating. Uh, we will clarify that a little bit deeper in a moment as well. I just want to kind of give you a brief overview of each card first. So then we had for you I want to say Get Wild was next. So then we had or actually, we'll build off the center. So then we have the Underworld, we'll talk about first. The Underworld is a card that I really don't like to see, to be honest, not because it's bad, because I don't believe any of the cards in tarot are inherently bad. It is all up to um, the reader and the interpreter, or up to like the person being read for and the person interpreting or channeling. But with the Underworld card, this is a card that tells me you have experienced a lot of loss. You have maybe felt like it's been problem after problem, thing after thing and it's like you just can't catch your breath. And Spirit doesn't show me this card unless you have been through a lot. But recognize that that time period will end. You are not going to be stuck on this wheel forever. And we'll look at that in a moment. Then we have Share Wisdom. This is a lot about sharing what you've learned from the trials and tribulations that you've been through, sharing your story, sharing what you've gone through so that it might help somebody else. We also have the Warrior. I feel like these two cards are very much about sharing your story because it will help somebody else who's been through something similar. And you might not feel like a warrior right now. You might feel very much like a victim, but the story of what you're going through right now eventually is going to be the thing that is a catalytic change for someone else. So the Warrior is about sharing that, though, and also standing up for others that have been in situations or positions that you've been in that nobody deserved. And we also have Get Wild, which is really about getting completely wild, getting rid of the structures that have been put around you. I think this goes really well with the Magi card, to be honest, because it's really about, not listening to societal standards. If you don't want to color your hair anymore, stop coloring your hair. You don't have to keep up with some kind of beauty standard. Now, if you love coloring your hair and it's a form of expression for you, keep coloring your hair. If you don't want to do your nails because you're tired of it, stop doing your nails. If you want to do them because, again, it's a form of expression for you, then do that. My point to this is where in your life are there things that you do because you feel like you have to? And it would be like ludicrous for you to consider something else. Like, this could even be down to like going home for Christmas and seeing your family when you really don't want to, when you would really rather stay home and do your own thing. This to me is hey, you can decide to put the old traditions aside and do what you want to do. So let's go ahead and break them all down and see what is going on here. So number one, with the Magi card at the heart of your reading, we have the 10 of Pentacles, and we have this with the 6 of Swords. So when it comes to your outdated beliefs or things that you need to work through, you might have some beliefs around money, finances, materialism. Maybe you harbor a belief that like rich people are all terrible. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that I don't think that, if somebody has a lot of money, they shouldn't be using that to better the world instead of just hoarding the 1%. I'm not saying that we shouldn't hold people accountable for what they do, but I do think that if we constantly tell ourselves this, like rich people are bad or money is evil, or, these are things that I've been told myself and used to believe, it doesn't actually allow us to live our most abundant life. You have to think about money, finances, your possessions, like you have an actual physical, tangible relationship with them. If somebody constantly talked about you the way that you talk about money and finances, would they want to stick around you? Just like answer that question for yourself. And if the answer is yes, if you have a really positive relationship with money, then keep doing that by all means. The reason I'm bringing it up, though, is it seems like there are some outdated beliefs that you have told yourself about money, wealth, and status, and maybe even your long-term goals as well. And you are currently on a journey right now to uncover these things, because the 6 of Swords is about going on a journey. And sometimes it can be one that we're really afraid to take. We're afraid to trust that the universe supports us. We're afraid to make risky moves and believe that, our finances will be put back tenfold. We can be really afraid to do those things, but ultimately the Six of Swords is saying that it's worth picking apart why you hold the beliefs that you hold, because they're actually keeping you from manifesting what it is that you desire, especially when it comes to your long-term goals, your money, your finances. And I would say even if you do run a business, this can also hold you back in business, because the Ten of Pentacles represents financial status and like how you treat your money, possessions, and it can also be family and lineage too if you have that very tied to finances. But there is something here to be uncovered, and you need to inspect it a little bit more and go on this journey because you're being asked to. Then we have for you share wisdom, and we have this with the Five of Pentacles and the Four of Cups. So maybe finances are actually a really sore subject for you, which totally understandable. I think a lot of people have a hard time talking about money. A lot of us have been programmed to not talk about it, even though that honestly keeps the rich in power and that keeps the rest of us down when we don't discuss it. Like, have you ever thought about that? How in the workplace they tell you that you can't talk about what you earn with the people around you, and how like they've made that such a demonized thing that it could get you in a lot of trouble, when it's really because if you talk about what you earn with someone else, if so-and-so is at a higher pay grade than you, but you're doing the same job, they don't want that kind of contention that could come up. They are allowed to keep things unequal and unfair by keeping you silent. So that's just like one example. You might not even be in the working world in that way. But my point is like, you don't have to stay quiet about what you're experiencing, especially if you feel like you've been left out in the cold financially or you have financially struggled. Spirit is saying you actually need to share this, and also share where you couldn't see the gifts and opportunities in front of you, because the Four of Cups is all about the universe trying to bless you and you not seeing it. But the thing is, you have this all under the guise of sharing your wisdom. So somebody out there needs to hear your story. And I feel like financially, you might harbor a lot of shame around money. Maybe you've come from a financial system or like a family dynamic where finances, I mean, shoot, is this my reading? I feel like I come from a family that is very much like this. My parents to this day still like scream at each other about money. And even when I married my partner 9 years ago, I told him that was like the one thing I never wanted to fight about was money. And if we were going to fight about money, we were not going to fight. We were going to sit down and have a discussion, because I saw how much that tore apart my family and still does to this day. But my point is like me even sharing that, like, it's okay to talk about your experiences. It's okay to talk about the things that feel uncomfortable that surround your goals, your finances, how you make money, and the experiences that you've had, because somebody needs to hear it. Even me talking about that experience just now, of course it's uncomfortable. Of course I think about my parents listening to these videos and being like, oh my gosh, I can't believe Chloe's talking about that. You know, you know what else? Somebody needs to hear this. If you're somebody that's like working on a creative project where you're sharing a lot of your family history or where you've come from, please keep sharing. Don't write or make something because you're like, don't make the thing under the guise that that person you're talking about is going to listen. Because you have nothing to prove, and you're going to be so much more real and open and authentic and a true warrior when you let yourself speak from an authentic place. Think about them never hearing it, because that is going to allow you to sing your song as loudly as you need to so that the right people will hear it. I mean, think about all the people that have written biographies and have have talked about abuse from family members. Do you think that they probably had a hard time reconciling how they were going to talk about this, or how they were going to write about it, or how they were going to deal with it, or the shame that they felt internally about their situations? If they did, they probably wouldn't have written it. You have to write or create film or, take photographs or whatever it is that is your art. in order to share your wisdom, you have to share it like that person isn't going to hear it, because you will cut yourself off and stipulate and over explain every single step of your journey if you hold things back because you're afraid that that person's going to hear it. I don't know who out there needs to hear that, but that's what your guides are saying, that you need to share unapologetically. And then we have the Warrior, which has the Five of Swords. So, and the Chariot. So this literally to me is about you helping other people that are hurting, you helping and standing up for others. It's like, these are people that like showed up to a sword fight and they in turn like became the victim, and you show up with your sword on a bike and you're like, let's charge and get them, you know? So I feel like for you, this is literally like riding your steed into battle with the Chariot. And it is part of your destiny, pile number 4. It is part of your destiny to stand up for those that need to hear your story. I know that we might think that only like celebrities or important people have biographies and those are the stories that matter, but it's not true. Everybody's story matters. And if you feel like you have a story that's really worth telling and sharing because it could help somebody, I promise you that you're supposed to share it. Even if it's scary, even if your voice shakes, you're supposed to share. Then we have over the underworld, the Ace of Pentacles and the Two of Cups. I get the sense that you've experienced a really great loss, financially, romantically. When I put these cards down, this might just be for one person. So please, like, this isn't me predicting the future. This is me saying something that already happened. I heard the word miscarriage. I don't usually ever get readings like that, but like that was like part of your loss. Like you feel like you have gone through a lot of loss. And I just want to say, if that's you that just came through in my reading, I'm so sorry for your loss. I'm so sorry that you've had to experience that. And I'm sorry. Just know that my heart is with you. I want to be really sensitive to that because that just came through in a really interesting way. Like the energy just felt really heavy. And this is something that has probably made it really hard to carry on with you and your partner even. It's like created some problems and friction between the two of you. If it's not that and you're not that one person, there's just been a lot of loss. You maybe have lost a significant other, or somebody really important to you, or a business contract. The Two of Cups is like a really harmonious relationship. Some of y'all might have even lost a friend, like a best friend, somebody you thought you would always be close with. And Spirit is saying like your season of loss will come to an end. You are not going to be losing forever. And right now, it's really important to reach out for support. It's really important to not just keep everything in and stay on your own. The Ace of Pentacles tells me that from this, something beautiful does have the potential to transpire. Something beautiful will grow. But now is not necessarily that time. It's time to speak up, speak out when you feel ready, of course. And know that your season of losing will come to a close. That's like one of the really important messages that you need to hear. And we also have under Get Wild, we have the Five of Cups and we have Strength. So Get Wild, again, that is our card that tells me we need to, it's almost like you did everything right. Like, I'm getting this energy of like you did everything right. You checked all the boxes. Like you went after a career, you've stayed there for a long time, you got married, you like, and this is just like one example. It could be a multitude of things that you did right. But it's like you maybe had your path carved out for you by society, by parents. You did everything right by like societal standard. And that left you empty and hurting. And now you're starting to see like you should just be yourself, because the strength card is about literally having the strength to calm your inner demons, calm your inner shadow, to be with the parts of you that are hurting about what you maybe lost or have left behind, or where praise wasn't given in your life. Or I do get the sense that there is a deep hurt, and now you're realizing that your authentic self was always worth it, and you are ready to like reclaim that full expression because you haven't been claiming it. With Get Wild, that tells me that you've been doing things for others and not really for yourself. And it's time for you to do things for yourself because it leaves you hurting and wanting for more, basically. Then we also have, you can radically change your results by shifting your beliefs. What belief is limiting you? So this is about changing the way that you see your story. You're not a victim. And even if you are, I always say whenever we get like victimhood coming out in readings, you have to be the victim before you can ever be the hero. And it's okay to need to be there for a while. I'm not here to be like, oh, don't be the victim. Don't do this. Don't do that. No, it's okay to hurt. It's okay to be the victim. It's like I said, the hero is born from the victim. And Spirit is saying to you and has led you here to this reading so that you can know that you can radically change the way that your life has currently been going by shifting how you think, believe, and feel about it. So what belief are you holding on to right now that is actually really limiting you? And this is a really potent and powerful time for you to change that. We also have what has no bearing on has no bearing on what will be. What does your ideal life look and feel like? So what you've been through, where you have been. I always say that I get this from my husband, past results do not equal future projections or something like that. It's like what happened in the past does not mean it's going to happen in your future. And you can recreate and restart at any time that you want. So what happened to you in the past has no bearing on where you're going in the future. And it's important to share your story, but to know that that's what it is. It's your story, and it doesn't have to be the thing that defines the rest of your life. You get to create, from the victim, you can be the survivor or the hero. You don't have to sit in this and decide, this is my story, this is who I am, this is who I'll always be. I always like to tell the story of, very short story, I'll keep it brief. I will never forget living in an apartment that I actually really loved, even though it wasn't anything special. It was like really like not in the greatest area, and it didn't necessarily have any embellishments. I did love the space though. I actually felt really good living in that apartment. It was one of my favorites that I've ever lived in. I couldn't tell you why. It just had something special about it. But I'll never forget looking at my best friend one time and telling her, this is just what I'm destined for. This is my life. I am meant to always live in a mediocre apartment. I'm always meant to drive a mediocre car. I am meant to live a mediocre life. And this is always going to be me. I'm never going to achieve the status and the things that I desire in this lifetime. And I was just like willing to live in that. And this all stems from a belief that I don't even know how many years ago, and I'm sure. Actually, I'm not going to speak on her behalf. I don't know how she would feel about that now. That's on her to discover. I'm just telling my side of the story. This is what I mean by going from victim to hero, okay? Here it is. This was all stemming from a belief that one time my mom pulled me aside and she was just talking to me about how her children, me included, would never amount to anything, and how we were never going to own anything, maybe a car. And like basically all of our worth was in the status and value of material things. She didn't say that, but that was what was being implied. And since none of us like got a full college education or worked really high ranked jobs or weren't making multi-millions and weren't running these high scale businesses, that like we were never going to amount to anything more than maybe owning a car. And that like was upsetting to her. And that really stuck with me. I believed growing up into a teenager, into an adult, that that was what was destined for me. I was never going to have more than driving my 4-door sedan and living in a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment. And don't get me wrong, if that's your life and you are happy and you are content with that, that's not me shitting on you. I think that I lived a very happy life when I was there. But at that point in time, I had bigger dreams than that. And I felt like that was what I was destined for. So my point is, though, is from that point, I've completely changed my story. I don't believe that about myself. I do believe that I'm worthy of more. I do believe that I can have anything that I want in this lifetime and that I can make that happen or manifest it. And I've seen a lot of really great things happen in my life since changing that story that I was telling myself. And Spirit is saying that it's that kind of energy that is in your playing field right now. You can decide what your story is. You get to decide to rewrite it. You know what song just came to my head? You need to give it a listen, pile number 4. High Hopes by Panic at the Disco, where he literally says in the song, burn all your, like something about like, burn all your history, write out your wildest dreams. You have to have high hopes for a living. Didn't have a dime, but I always had a feeling I was going to be that one in a million. Like, I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. But like that song is so powerful about reclaiming your story and deciding that you are it. You are going to be it. You are that bad bitch. And you do not have to live in a way that you are unhappy or unfulfilled, and your dreams are worth actualizing. And you internally do know the way to get there. And you might not know or have all the answers right now in this present moment, but from climbing out of where you've been, sharing of your story, opening up a little bit more, and knowing that things will get better, I really do believe that you'll get there. Now, we also have for you as a final message from Spirit, the hummingbird. And this comes from the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit book by Kim Krans. This is her deck in her book. I love Kim Krans. I own every single deck that she has ever made. One of my favorite creators. Like, I hope I get to meet Kim Krans someday. Her work has just been so impactful for me. I really love her approach to tarot and psychology. But you got the hummingbird, and I'm just going to read this directly out of the book. It says, positive, enthusiastic, spiritually resourceful. Inside the tiny hummingbird resides an endless well of energy and positivity. The hummingbird's secret is that it has learned where to gather nectar, and it returns to those sources daily for nourishment and rejuvenation. This sacred elixir springs from many sources, but usually involves nature, creativity, and exploring spirituality. Follow the way of the hummingbird, and you cannot go wrong. Every droplet of life becomes sweet, every moment worth savoring. So I feel like this ultimately is about connecting more to the things that make you feel good and fill you up, and the things that make you feel downtrodden and bad are not for you right now, like, or ever. Like, they never have to be for you. You don't have to, again, live in that story. You can decide to replenish your reserves and to get right with yourself in whatever way feels the best to you. And this is your call to action on that. So that is what I have for you, pile number 4. Thank you so much for tuning in. I do just want to take a moment here at the end of this reading to just say thank you for watching my video. Thank you for being here on my channel. I feel like I don't say thank you enough, and I don't express enough gratitude to my community. And I just really wanted to take a moment to just say thank you. You don't have to do anything else. You just being here watching this video is more than enough. So thank you so much for being here. I genuinely appreciate you. If nobody's told you that they appreciate you today, please let me be that person. If you would like to support my channel in a free way, feel free to like this video, leave a comment, especially if this resonated with you. Please leave me a comment, put a lion emoji down below, because I just know, pile number 4, that you really are on the path to creating a successful path for yourself. And I feel like there is no better symbol than the hummingbird. Is a great one, of course, but I don't know if we have a hummingbird emoji. If we do, feel free to leave it down below, but I know we have a lion. So leave me a lion, because I know that you are like, honestly, sorry, I'm getting like another message. I'm glad that I kept talking, because Spirit just showed me like the Lion King. And I just want you to know that like when you are ready to reclaim your energy and reclaim your throne, like Simba from The Lion King, you will return and do it in when it feels right for you and when it feels good for you. And you will be able to own that. So leave me a little lion down below if this resonated with you. I'd really like to know just like how many of you this reading really hit. Leave me a comment. But as I was saying, you can leave a comment, you can like the video just to let me know to create more like this. That is really helpful. And if you feel like you want more from me and you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button. But in any case, thank you so much. And I'm now going to tell you a little bit more places that you can support me if you want to, but I just really wanted you to know that like, A, you don't have to, and B, there are free ways to do it as well. And that I'm really grateful that you're just here spending this time with me and letting me read for you. But if you would like to support me in other ways, I do have a Patreon where I put out exclusive pick a cards that you can't get anywhere else. We put out a workshop most months. This month, we're going to be covering the eclipse that is actually happening, or it may have already happened. I'm not sure when this video is going out, but it was this week. So make sure that you head over there and check that out if you want access to that workshop. You can still work with that energy this whole month because we are in the thick of eclipse seasons right now, or in the 2 cycles of the solar and lunar eclipse. So that one will be like a really impactful one. I also do weekly energy updates, a book club, and so much more. So make sure that you join the Patreon if you would like more from me. It's a great way to support me as a creator. I also have my podcast, Divine Authenticity, available to you everywhere that you listen to podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Google, and so much more. We talk about getting into your hot girl energy or hot guy or hot person. We also talk about astrological forecasts. I usually do the new and the full moon forecast. So if you want to hear that, please make sure you follow the podcast so you can have access to that. I like to think we have a good time. I'm really just there to like lead you in authenticity and becoming your best self. That's like my mission with the podcast. So to remind you of your divinity and how divine you actually are. That's why it's Divine Authenticity. We put out new episodes every single Tuesday morning at 4:44 a.m. Pacific. Sometimes we'll do a Tuesday and a Friday episode, but lately I've been doing just Tuesdays again. So definitely check that out. If you'd like to support me even further, no expectation, but it's certainly appreciated. I have my Cashapp, Venmo, and PayPal listed down below, as well as my wish list if you'd like to send me a gift. And last but certainly not least, I have my socials. So that's going to be my Instagram, my TikTok, and Twitter. I know I left Twitter for like a year and she's back. I'm at Kloee Taylor on every single platform. No underscores, no periods, no numbers, none of that nonsense. It's just at Kloee Taylor, no extra letters. If you see any of that, it's not me. It's a scammer account. I have the official handle. So come and follow me if you want to. And I love you so much. Pile number 4, please do not forget, when you stand in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. And I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye. Whoo, Chile. That was a long series of readings today. I feel like these readings were all like really long. Like this is gonna be like a 2-hour video, which like good for her. We love to see it. If you don't know what this is and you're here at the end of the video, I have started adding little like rambles to the end of my videos just while I'm sharing the Patreon credits, because those of you that support me on Patreon, I really want you to have your moment. So these are like always at the end of my videos. If you like fast forward to the end, you'll always see the end credits. It's usually just me rambling about stuff, but that felt so good. I've actually just come off of, I want to say I haven't worked in like 11 days. I just had my cycle here recently and I have not worked in 11 days. And girl, it felt correct being able to take that time out for myself. I suffer with polycystic ovarian syndrome. So when my cycle is here, she is like doing the most. I usually am like have to be in bed resting. It's been like that since I was a kid, but we're working on it. You know, we're working on the hormone health. My podcast, I'll probably talk more about that if you're interested. Shameless self-plug, but my husband has been sitting in our living room with the fireplace lit with all 3 of our cats snuggled up, and I am so excited to clean up in here and go join him and crack myself a little sparkly bevy. I have a chider, which is like a chai cider. Very excited to drink that. And oh, you know what else, y'all? You're gonna see in like probably the next, not right now, but within the next few videos, she is trying to be her own nail salon person, nail tech, that's the word, sorry. I got all this stuff to do my own nails at home. So if they be looking messy in the next like 2 videos from now, maybe, it's because I did them myself, but I actually like bought like Gel X is what I'm trying to do. So we're going to see how it goes because it's not even like the money when it comes to the salon. Let me know if y'all feel me. Leave me a hand painting emoji if you feel me on this in the comments. It's not even that I don't like going to or it's not the money. It's that I would rather just sit in front of my TV and watch what I want to watch while I do my own nails. I don't want to go spend 2.5 hours at the nail salon. I would rather be at home doing what I want to do. And so, yeah, I'm just gonna like do them myself. I'm really excited though. I feel like if this works, not only am I gonna save so much money, but I feel like I'm actually gonna do a good job. Like I've been doing normal, just like gel on my natural nails for a while. And now I'm gonna start like adding like, I like short nails too. And I always feel like my previous nail tech would leave them a little too long for me. So I don't know. I'm just excited. Okay. We're going to be Chloe's Claws, and that's going to be my at-home nail salon that's just for me. And I can't wait to share with you what that looks like. We'll have a discussion about it after I do it. Okay. Like one of the next little end credits I'll share with you. But in any case, I'm going to clean up in here. And I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you for sticking around and listening to this if you did. And I feel like there was something else I was going to say, but maybe not. No notes. I love you so much. And thank you to all of these lovely patrons. If they're still on the screen, they maybe are already done. I don't know. Thank you to all my lovely patrons for supporting me. I appreciate you. Bye.